Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Saturday Morning Coffee and Create with Brenda. I'm Brenda Hillard, Independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I come to you every Saturday morning with a recorded Facebook episode. And today I'm going to be using the stamp set called Biggest Wish for our project. Now, let me tell you, this set is more than fun, and I'll show you that in just a minute. The best news is, do you see my host code up here? Well, when you order with me and use my host code, you let me back up, and your product order is over $75. I will send you absolutely free the Biggest Wish stamp set. So you'll get this stamp set free just for ordering the products that you love. So this offer is only good until June 30th. So hop on and grab a free stamp set. Today I'm going to show you a card using the stamp set. And I mean, there's lots of possibilities, but I wanted you to see this card in action. It's really quite cute. So grab your coffee. I've got iced coffee this morning again. Grab your coffee and let's get creating. All right. So the stamps I'm going to use out of this set is I'm going to use this big happy, the bold, and then I'm going to use this little scripty birthday. And we're going to be using the designer series papers from, if you look in the back of your annual catalog, and for whatever reason, I have misplaced my catalog, but it will show up. But this party pack is really fun. Fun papers, all kinds of different designs. And just wait, I want to show you one thing once I get these fanned out here. I think, did you see my turtle card I made with the heart paper on YouTube? That paper is adorable. And then today I'm going to be using this paper, and it's kind of a multicolored scallop. But you guys, in this party pack, look what happens when you flip. It's all different black and whites on the other side. And this is called the Pattern Party Designer Series paper. And like I said, you're going to find it on in the back of your catalog. I just found my catalog. This is a good thing because I wanted to show you this. So in the very back, oops, I've got a lot of notes in the catalog, I guess. But in the very back here, right here, when you host a party and your party reaches $150 in sales, you can purchase this pack of paper. Now, 48 sheets of 12 by 12, four each of 12 double-sided designs for just $18. So this is a $30 value for $18 with a qualifying workshop. And a workshop can be your very own order. So if you order $150, not only are you going to receive the Biggest Wish stamp set from me, but you can order this paper for just $18. Okay, there's that. Let's get down to business now with our project. So today I'm going to be using Just Jade ink and the new in color, Pale Papaya. And our embellishments are going to be the Just Jade. These are the square gems, the 2020-2022 in color. And I chose Just Jade. Now, I could have used the Bumblebee as well because it's close enough, but I felt like I had close enough to the color Pale Papaya. But I felt like um, there was enough Pale Papaya with the cardstock and the ribbon, so I chose the Just Jade gems, and I'll show you those. I also have the Pale Papaya and white. This is like a cotton ribbon, and it's really nice to work with. I guess they're saying it's polyester, but it's just a woven ribbon, and it looks awesome on cards and 3D projects. All right, let's get. I am also going to be using my Stamparatus today and my Simply Score tool and my mini boss, my mini stamp and cut and emboss, okay? So let's bring in our pieces. And I've got just a standard piece of, I did use the thick basic white today, and it's 5.5 by 8.5. And I'm going to, I'll zoom in just a little so you can see here. I'm going to match this up at the 4.25 mark, and I'm just going to score down the groove. And then that gives me, you can do it with your trimming tool too. I had my scoreboard out because I was doing some swap cards. And when I do a lot of cards, or another thing I use this for is when I get a pack of basic white paper, I just take, let me grab it here. I just take I make a whole stack of card bases. I cut them at 5.5 by 8.5. And then I just put them on here and I just keep scoring so that I have ready to go card bases. And I've done that for a lot of my customers too, where my pickup customers, and they'll order their paper and I'll say, "Do you want it cut?" And they're like, "I would love to have it cut." So I've done that before too, and it goes really quick. And then you're just at the ready with your card bases. The other thing you're going to need is a piece of designer series paper that measures 4 by 3.25. You're going to need a piece of coordinating solid colored cardstock, and I chose again the Pale Papaya. And I need a scrap piece of basic white, and that's so that we can stamp our birthday sentiment here. Okay? So let's do our stamping first, and I'll show you why. I'm going to bring in my Stamparatus, and I should still have these lined up fairly well. But we're going to stamp on our scrap piece of basic white first, and then we will use the stitched rectangle dies to crop our sentiment when we cut it with the mini box. I'm going to ink up this big happy with the Pale Papaya ink, and I'm just going to place that right here on my cardstock. Love, love, love. And you see, I don't have like the perfect stamped image. So here's the beauty of using your Stamparatus. I can ink it up again and give it another go. And it stamps right on top. No shadows, no halos. So that's pretty awesome. And now on my flip board up here, see I have this one here for the happy. And then I've got this one set up for the birthday. And using the Just Jade ink, I'm going to ink up my birthday, and I'm going to stamp that right here. And I like that one. We'll give it one more just to really give us a bold, bold image. Oops, I'm out of my camera. There we go. So when I lift up, that's what I get. Happy birthday. And this month it was my birthday month. So I have that special on the Many Marvelous Markers. And that'll go till the 30th. They're normally $123. And I have them on sale this month for $99. And those are the Stamp and Write markers. Well, if you're interested in those, you simply PayPal me $99, and I have that little form for you to fill out. And then I order your markers and have them sent directly to you. So if you've been wanting the Stamp and Write markers, the 4 color families, you should order those now. Comes in a really nice case too. That's a storage case, and there's extra spaces for the in-color Stamp and Write should you choose to add those to your collection. So is what I've done is I have plate number 1, plate number 2, my stamped sentiment on a scrap of basic white. I'm going to just crop now with the stitched rectangle dies. And the best way I found for me to get this straight is just to look on the top of the happy and make sure I have the same distance to the die. Okay. Then I'm going to take another cutting plate number 2. I'm just going to pinch my sentiment in there. And I am so right-handed, you guys. So they'll run this through. Did you see? New cutting plates. It's a great day here in my stamping studio. I love when I have new cutting plates. Okay, so these are the stitched rectangles. So you always have that little push because it's a perforated edge. So that's pretty cool, huh? And then, now I know all of my In Color Club has purchased the scalloped contour dies, and if you haven't seen these, you really need to see them in action. But there's this stitched scallop die on there. So as what we're going to do is, again, I'm going to do cutting plate number 1, 2. We're going to take the long edge of our DSP, and I'm going to line that up just right at the very bottom there with the scallops. And I'm going to pinch that down, making sure that it stays right at the bottom edge of our paper so we get that pretty scallop. And then again, we will run this through. Wait till you see how fun this is. I was talking to my demonstrator friend and she's like, Brenda, when you do your videos, you say it's kind of fun. She goes, it's not just kind of fun, it's really fun. So look how really fun this is. You get this stitch scalloping with the pattern. You don't really see the stitch well on camera, but it shows up really, really nice when I look at it here in person. So now, here's our assembly of our really fun card. All right, time for coffee. All right, so let's put some Stampin' Dimensionals. I need one that I've trimmed, or a new sheet would be appropriate for Coffee and Create with Brenda, don't you think? So what I'm going to do is put one dimensional on each corner, one in the middle, just because we've got the humidity here in Minnesota. And I also am putting one on each of the scallops because I want that edge to stay really nice once we put it on our card. So let's flip. And then I want about a 1/2 to 3/4 inch border at here and here when I put it down. Okay. And then I'm going to take and put just a little bit of Stampin' Seal on the back of my pale papaya. And that's simply going to help me hold this ribbon when I tie it around the cardstock, okay? So I'm just going to lay it on the back side, centering it to the piece of cardstock, give it a press, and then that'll hold it in place for us. So, and I know I'm tying this upside down. I'm doing that on purpose. I read that if you tie your bow upside down, that your little loops of your bow and your tails on your bow will face the direction that you want them to. So we're going to try it today on camera with you. I think that's going to work. I just want to poof up my loops a little bit so it looks festive. It's a birthday card. We want it to be festive. Okay, now this woven ribbon, you need a really sharp scissor, and I have one that I use just for ribbon because otherwise it'll fray a little bit if your scissor is dull. But with a sharp scissor, you get that nice sharp edge. And again, that's the pale papaya and white woven ribbon. And that's in our new annual catalog because it's the new in color. All right. I'm not going to worry about this on the front because once we lay our sentiment piece on top, that will work just fine. All right, we're going to put our dimensionals on. Lord knows I love my dimensionals, so put those all on there. And now this measured, this papaya piece measured 5 1/4, or I'm sorry, 5 1/2 by 1 1/4. And so that means it's exactly as wide as our card base. So is what I want to do is just kind of put my finger here so that I get it right to the edge because I don't want anything to overhang because with the ribbon now we can't trim, okay? We shouldn't have pressed that down quite as hard as I did because it wasn't right where I wanted it, but that's all good. We were able to readjust. Picky about my bows. Anybody that knows me knows that's the truth. Okay, so now I'm going to take my sentiment that I cropped with the stitched rectangles. I'm going to add some dimensionals to that. And I'm just going to do dimensionals at the top and the bottom on this one because it's going to straddle our ribbon. And then I wanted to show you one more thing because I noticed that when I did our my prototype here, this corner actually needs an additional dimensional because it sits down off from the other things we've raised. So I just take one dimensional, take both the front and back off, and I just layer it so that there's two to give it the depth. And then we're just going to pop this right on there like that. How cute, right? Cute, quick, and yet fun. Let's bring in our square gems. And again, I chose the Just Jade color. I'm going to get my Take Your Pick tool. I introduced the Take Your Pick tool to a lady last weekend. She had never used it, and um, she has some just steadiness issues, and she loved this thing. So you have the pointy tip, the piercing tip, and then it unlocks, and you have the spatula tip, and then this end is your putty tip that you can use to just push and pick up like that and place your embellishments on your card. And then the other thing about this does unscrew, and there's um, a brush tip that you can purchase that you use to roll over your intricate dies, and that just screws in, and then you can roll over them and it pushes out the pieces from the intricate dies. It's pretty cool. And then there's another interchangeable piece that is a wide tip scoring ball and a narrow tip. And that, let me put this putty back in and put the cover. And you do get two putties, so you can have a replacement because they do run out after a while. But then the scoring tip can go right in here too, and then you have that. It's a really good tool, and they're just $10. So if you don't have one, I know where you can get one, and I can help you order that up. So there's our card for today, bright, cheery, and I hope to see you next week at Create with Brenda. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.